Fresh for everyone.
One of these men will lead us through the next important chapter of American history. The voters had their say. Now the waiting begins.
Americans breaking all records when it comes to early voting, determined to make sure they were safe in the pandemic and that their voices were heard. Nico Clemens is handling that part of the still very breaking story this morning. Dana Smith with the still undecided 2nd District showdown between Congresswoman Elaine Luria and challenger Scott Taylor.
It's all happening right now. This is 13 News Now Daybreak. Your voice, your vote. And if you think this looks close, well, consider this. Millions upon millions of mail-in and absentee ballots have not been counted yet. These numbers are based off of Associated Press projections. It's far from a final draft, and it includes Biden's projected win of Virginia. It'll be up to teams like the one inside the Virginia Beach Convention Center to sort through an unprecedented number of ballots. Thank you for waking up with Daybreak. I'm Dan Kennedy.
And I'm Ashley Smith. Let's get right over to Faith Abube in D.C. with the latest on the race for the White House.
Good morning. Millions of ballots are still being counted at this hour across the country, but it looks like this race is coming down to 3 key battleground states. Overnight, former Vice President Joe Biden in Wilmington, Delaware, energizing a car rally of supporters.
We believe we're on track to win this election.
Biden so far performing as expected as the vote counts roll in across the country. The former vice president boosted by wins in traditional Democratic strongholds and the Pacific West Coast, taking California, Oregon, and Washington. And in a surprise outcome, Biden now leading in Arizona.
The state of Florida and its 29 electoral votes will go to Donald Trump.
Trump winning the biggest prize so far, taking all of Florida's 29 electoral votes. But as votes are still being counted, Trump in an early morning speech falsely claiming he won the race.
This is a fraud on the American public. Frankly, we did win this election.
Right now, the cliffhanger appears to be in the Rust Belt states of Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, key battlegrounds that could decide who wins the White House. Wisconsin officials telling ABC News they expect statewide results as early as today. So far, it appears young people did not turn out to vote as expected. National exit polls suggesting that 18 to 29-year-olds make up the same percentage of the electorate as they did back in 2016. Faith Abube, ABC News, Washington.
And when it comes to the Senate, take a look at the latest results there. It's a tie between Democrats and Republicans at 47 seats apiece.
And as we head to the race for the House of Representatives and how things are looking right now, Democrats in the lead with 188 seats. Republicans currently have 181, but these numbers are still very much coming in. Stay with us all day for the latest in the House of Representatives. And a big race from the House that we're following, the rematch between incumbent Democratic Congresswoman Elaine Luria and Republican challenger Scott Taylor.
So here's what's going on. 100% of the precincts are reporting, but it's still way too early to call this one. Dana Smith has more on this race for District 2. Dana, long night for both those candidates. Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, as I've been telling you guys all morning, the reason we cannot call it is because that race is just too close right now. And it is a big race between Congresswoman Elaine Luria and her challenger Scott Taylor. Luria is vying to keep her 2nd congressional district seat. Taylor is challenging her, trying to get his old job back. And independent candidate David Foster is also in that mix. But it is the tight race between Luria and Taylor. Now, Luria did not comment on the initial results yesterday. Meanwhile, yesterday, Taylor noted there's still more votes to be tallied.
But I want to caution you, just because there's a big swath of early absentee ballots, whether in person or by mail, that still need to be counted.
Right now, those results show Luria with a slight lead. Dana Smith, 13 News Now.
All right, yeah, about 4%. Dana, thanks.
Well, to this now, Hampton Roads bet big when it came to casinos. Early returns actually show that voters overwhelmingly passed measures to build casinos in both Portsmouth and Norfolk. Now, the returns show about 66% of voters voted yes to casino measures in both cities. In Norfolk, the Pamunkey Indian tribe says the project near Harbor Park will bring more jobs and tax revenue to the area. Portsmouth's casino project is backed by the Chicago-based company Rush Gaming, with plans to build it on Victory Boulevard near downtown.
Throughout the entire campaign, and it's reinforced today, the driving factor is what this will mean for the city of Norfolk. It's going to bring more than 6 million visitors.
I voted yes. Okay. I think it will bring in some jobs and be good for the economy. And Portsmouth, I feel like, can really use kind of a leg up on things.
Norfolk and Portsmouth aren't the only two cities in the Commonwealth voting on casino plans. People are voting yes to casinos in Danville and Bristol as well.
All right, thank you, Bethany. Time now 6:35. Still a whole lot to get to this morning. Great to have you with us on Daybreak.
And here are some of the other stories we're working on today, starting with this, the legal trouble following election night, what both candidates are now vowing.
And this morning's big question, when will we know who won the election? We'll try to explain it all for you next on Daybreak.
Got a plumbing leak that's sprung? Tell them.